I promised you, excuse me, you must let me do this. Hang on a second. Wonderful. So sorry. Now look, I know it's awfully rude, but look, I promised you, last film promised you that this film was going to show you advice on voting for the mayor. And I'm really nervous because, well, there are lots of reasons why I'm nervous, but I suppose I'm nervous particularly because I'm sort of, because well, there was one thing, but it's so trivial, that I'm scared of mentioning it to you, because if I mention it to you, you'll think, oh, well, we don't want to hear about that. That's far, far too trivial for us Americans to deal with this. We're not going to decide our mayor on a thing like that. And so you'd switch off. And so I'm nervous of telling you what it is. And so maybe I won't tell you what it is. Maybe this whole 5-minute film will be about not telling you things. Well, look, I'm going to tell you about this thing about the mayor. I'm going to tell you this thing about the mayor, and it's one thing that's so silly. You'll think, oh, we don't want to know about that. Why are we watching this film about something so incredibly silly? Well, here's a photo of Auntie. Just a nice one. Just, you might like to close up on that. Is that in camera? Hope so. Do you want to look at that photograph? Possibly not. Okay, and here, lovely pic of Diana. Okay, nice one, isn't it? Do you like that? Should we hold it up? Do we revere her in America in a way that we want to look at every photograph and sort of, look at it? But no, we probably don't at the moment. So, you see, I'm putting off the moment when I'm going to have to tell you this thing. And I am so embarrassed about it because I think it's quite important. When you are trying to choose to decide someone, you've got nothing else to decide someone on. Or, if you're like me, and you use this particular thing to decide about people, when you're choosing a mayor, excuse me, for New York, incredibly rude. The thing is, if you look at the way that these two chaps that dress. Now, they may have their jackets put on, corrected by someone else, but there's one thing that they will do when they get dressed, that they will do for themselves, almost certainly. And they will do it in a way which exhibits whether they're in a rush, whether they're in control, whether they're... I just can't tell you what it is. I just simply can't tell you what it is. But I have to tell you what it is because, well, it's the tie. You see, the thing is, when you tie a tie, well, you don't know because you're American, and that's fine. You do lots of wonderful, wonderful things in America, fantastic country. And, but when you tie a tie, you don't know how to do it. But amazingly, these two chaps who are the front runners in the mayor's race, sometimes their tie is more or less perfect, and it's not an easy thing to do. But sometimes they scrunch their tie up, and that's very, very bad form. These are expensive ties; they get ruined if you do that, and it doesn't look nice, and it just shows a disregard for money. Now, I wouldn't vote for a person. No, you see, you're already ahead of me. You're already thinking, oh, he's a silly Englishman with silly views about ties. We don't care about that. We're going to watch some more pornography. Well, I understand that. I understand that, in a way, but the point is what else have you got to do to decide? How are you going to decide? I mean, you've probably already decided, but how are you going to feel that you're right to have decided? How are you going to feel more enthusiastic about these chaps who are the mayors? Because here's the answer. Here is the answer. The answer is this. Now, look. In a few years' time, when the Constitution's changed and British people are allowed to... Well, I'm American now anyway, and I may already be able to run for mayor. I don't have to have been born here. Anyway, soon I will be able to run for mayor, I'm quite sure. And what would I do? Well, the first thing to do, the very, very, very first thing, well, one of the first things anyway, is education. Education. And I would have the books and plays of Noel Coward taught in all schools. Now, there would be objections and some strange results in some cases, possibly. But think about it.